Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yes, very awkward, strange position. I'm underneath a fire truck right now, trying to assess what's wrong with it and how to start fixing it. So if any of you are heavy diesel mechanics for 1991 Ford F800 brake systems, certainly feel free to shoot me an email. I think it's this one. This is the driver's side rear. It's leaking really bad. They're locked up. So the brakes are locked up. The rear brakes are locked up on this truck. It's an electric over hydraulic system. And occasionally it will release, but it's locked up most of the time. On this side, this is, let me see here. This is hard, awkward to do. A lot of these brake lines, I don't even know if you can see that. Some of these brake lines have been replaced. They're kind of new. And then that, I'm assuming that's a booster over there. That looks much newer than this one. Whew, that's some crazy drunken camera work. This one here is very, very rusty and it's leaking. So anyways, I got to figure that out and see if it's something that we can do so that we can get this engine back up and running. Let's see. Anyways, let me get out from underneath here. So, figured I'd just do the video here. Yes, this is super professional, but I'm busy and this is the best you get sometimes. A lot of stuff's going on. I don't know if you heard that another huge solar flare happened a few hours ago. The biggest one of this solar cycle so far. It was an X 8.7, 8.8, something like that. Don't get too worried about this one. At best, we might get a glancing blow. It happened just as that sunspot was kind of going out of view. So we might get a glancing blow from that. But at about the same time, a new sunspot that's coming around the other side, getting ready to start facing us, shot out a fairly decent size M class. So we may be having more of that coming up soon. And there's still, I believe, there's still one, that X5 something, that's still headed towards us. So it's possible we'll see some disruption. I saw this afternoon, there was a level 3 radio blackout. Not that most of us would ever notice that. That's high frequency radio waves that gets blacked out. But anyways, also, in the news, this is just kind of a little news brief. I've been talking about the last few days, trying to encourage you with community, encouraging you with yourself, because we've got to have that. We have to do that to get through all of this. But we still need to know what's going on in the news and everything. And Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping are meeting once again so that they can solidify the relationship. There's a lot of things going on with Russia and Ukraine. Things are expanding there. And I wouldn't think that it's going to be too much longer before the real possibility of active NATO troops involved. There has been NATO troops involved all along, mostly an advisory position, but it certainly looks like that's going to start expanding even more. There's stuff going on all the time there. Of course, the economy, it's in shambles all the time. It's worsening. But the thing that I really wanted to focus on today is this H5N1 again. That and one other thing. We'll get to the other thing here in a second. So CDC, FDA, World Health Organization, all of them pretty much now have come out and said, yeah, this H5N1 is definitely looking like the next upcoming pandemic. And they've been advising people and states and health departments and everything to get themselves ready, because this one looks like it could be the big one. They're testing all kinds of animals. They're testing people. There's I believe 70 people in Colorado that's being monitored because they believe they potentially have come in contact with this H5N1 through dairy. There's a lot of that. And I believe that this is multifaceted, like most things that they do to us. Yeah, it's another pandemic. It's another opportunity to do this to people. Another opportunity to get rid of a bunch of people so that they can replace them with new migrants coming in. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, there's been a few people talking about it, but not only are these people that are coming across the border from third world countries, many of them are from China, but there's a lot of indication that some of these are actual UN troops. Yeah, think about that for a minute. There's some strong indication that some of these that's coming across the border are United Nations troops. The United Nations several years ago put out some paper on how to solve all of the third world problems and to solve all of the first world problems where they have declining populations, aging populations. And that's basically to move all of the third world people into the first world countries. And, at that time, Alex Jones, I think, talked about this recently. I think maybe even today again. I saw something, but I know he's talked about it a few times. And it's been a laugh for a long time as, oh, this is such a conspiracy theory. Well, guess what? It's happening. Look at Europe. Look at what's going on here in the United States. And so they're moving people in. We're killing people off, whether purposefully or not, through violence, through diseases, all this kind of stuff. And then we're replacing people with, folks from third world countries. I talked about this. I've talked about this before. And that hit piece, Media Matters, they're the ones that's called me a conspiracy theorist. And that I'm some kind of white supremacist conspiracy theorist or some ridiculous thing like that. But it is happening. We're watching this happen all over. So tying that in with the H5N1, it's also about land, consuming people's land, getting rid of animals, stopping the meat production. There's in several states and at the federal level, there are these bills that are trying to get passed. Some of them have gotten passed, where there's, how to manipulate and control small farms and small ranches through water rights and things like that. There's a whole lot of deep stuff in the weeds there that I don't want to go into in this video. And so there's, trying to control farmland, eliminate small farmers, eliminate food, kill off lots of people, and then replace them with people across from the southern border or just from around the world. So it's a big overarching plan. Like I said, it's multifaceted. We can't just look at it and say, well, they're shipping all of these people in from other countries to mooch off the system or to replace voters, to add voters. That's part of it, but that's certainly not the only thing. They're doing this to replace us, to get rid of us so that they can have them. And I know this sounds really mean of me, but it's true. Sometimes the truth hurts, that's just how, man, I'm sorry, it's shaky. I've been upside down underneath this truck and my hands are shaky for some reason. Truth hurts sometimes, just how it is. And most of these people coming from these other countries, they have a much lower IQ. They're not civilized like we are. They're very much more obedient to government. They're used to government controlling them and taking care of them. They're not the rebellious, liberty-minded folks like you and I. They're just not. And so it's exactly what these elites, these people that are ruling everything want. And so it's this beautiful plan to flood this country with people from across the border, make this ridiculous claim that there's nothing they can do about it. And it's not just random people either. It's people that, are from foreign militaries, people from the United Nations military or NATO militaries, and bring disease in, and then have another big pandemic, lose a bunch more Americans, and then have this kind of final takeover. I mean, there's a huge plan going on here, folks. And we have to wake up to that. There's a lot. And then, of course, take over food, take your land, take your family's land. All this stuff is happening. I mean, there's all these big projects, these green energy projects that they're private companies going through and they're through eminent domain, taking small family farms. That's happening. Like I said, there's all these other legislations happening, so that what they're trying to do is they're trying to increase fees and fines and all this kind of stuff and regulations on the small farms through water rights, through other things, and which puts the small family farm out of business, the small family ranch out of business. You know, some of these have been in generations in these different families, and they can't do it anymore. And then you have your big companies like BlackRock and, you know, all of them coming in, they buy it up. And now the elites own it. Now they own all the land. And what are you supposed to do? Well, you're supposed to be happy. You're not going to have anything. You be happy. You need to go into the big super smart cities and live in a 15-minute neighborhood in your little cubicle of an apartment. You know, occasionally you might get to ride around in your little bean pod electric vehicle, but you can't go more than about 15 minutes anyways. That's all it's going to go. So, you know, it's fine. You're completely controlled, everything, your thoughts. You know, did you see the thing? Apple filed for a patent for ear pods, their little earbud thingies, that it can read your brain waves. Elon Musk is doing the testing for that Neuralink, which is the brain chip in your brain. All that stuff is happening. This is not conspiracy theory craziness, folks. It sounds like it, but it's real. And it's all connected. It's like I tell you all the time. All this stuff is connected. And so when we see the pandemic stuff, the new one, the next one, whatever it is, getting people off of meat, you know, eat the bugs. There was an article in one of the local news here, where I live, Southern Missouri, today, and it was talking about all these cicadas. That hey, they're great for eating. They're great protein. You should go out and collect them and eat them. It's way cheaper than going and buying hamburger at the grocery store. And there's plenty of them around. You should go out and catch these cicadas and you should eat them. You know, they don't want you eating healthy anymore. I mean, nothing that's produced is healthy. You know, I've said several times that Bill Gates Foundation or whatever put out that report that it's healthier to eat a bag of Skittles than it is to eat a steak. I mean, how absurd that is. But that's the kind of garbage that's being put out. They want you unhealthy. They want you under control or dead in the ground. That they want your land, they want your rights, they want your thoughts, they want your DNA. And that's what's happening. And then they want to replace you with people that don't think like this. They don't care. They've grown up generation after generation of doing what they're told to do, or being told every aspect of their life, complete control, no freedoms. And that's what they want. They're trying to replace us. They're also trying to replace I believe the Bible Christian based West, because their evil plans don't line up. And so they have to eliminate that too. I know it's a lot in one video, folks. Some of you are like, my goodness, I just started watching this guy and the last few days were really great and so encouraging. And now I watch this video and he sounds like Alex Jones just took mushrooms or something. I know it's crazy, but that is what's going on. I mean, that's a big part of what's going on. And wow, that fluorescent light above me just finally kicked on. That's nice. And we have to be aware of this. That's why I encourage you to not eat this garbage food. You know, your goal should be to where you can feed your family out of your garden or the region around you, where you're bartering, trading, or just purchasing food from local farmers, and you're not buying it from Walmart or from whatever grocery store, because the stuff is becoming, I don't care if it says organic on it or not. It's getting to the point that's meaningless. It's unhealthy. It's not food anymore, and it's going to get worse. And we also have to be, you know, prepared because of the stuff that's coming across the border, the disease that they're spreading around, that they're cooking up and spreading that around too. And then the people that are spreading violence and all this kind of stuff. We're watching Rome fall, folks. We're watching Rome collapse. And it's happening right before our eyes. And some of you may still be asleep, and if you are, I don't know what to tell you. For the rest of you, you need to be waking up even more so. You need to be getting up. You can't just be sitting there watching videos and reading articles and scrolling through Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is you're on and complaining about all this stuff. We're way past complaining, folks. It's time for you to get up and get activated. The first thing you need to do is work on yourself, your family, and your home, so that you can stand on your own 2 feet when that all fails, or when they pull that out from underneath you, or threaten you that you have to give up these rights to get it. And you say, I don't need it. I can grow my own food, clean my own water, and take care of my own wounds. I can teach my children. I can do it all. I don't need that. It may not be great, but I certainly don't need it. It's not worth all that. And we need to be doing that kind of stuff. Because if you don't, you're going to be standing in line someday, getting your mark so that you can get your bread, and then you can go live in your little cubicle, quarantine facility. Remember, like we saw in Australia and other places where, they were sticking people in these little quarantine little huts or apartments or whatever. That's where we're headed. I know, crazy old man, just talking nuts. I would say that I didn't forget to take my meds, but I don't take meds, so that's not the case. It's just I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing all this stuff because I see where it's heading. I know most of you do too. We need to wake up. So it's getting worse. We all know that. It's not doom and gloom. It's just a fact. And you need to be getting ready, getting prepared. As far as this truck, I was serious. If any of you, it's a 1991 F800, Ford F800. And like I said, these rear brakes are locked up. It's one of our engines that I'm terribly, desperately trying to get running. I mean, it runs great. Everything works on it. It's just the rear brakes. And I think that's the problem. And if you have any advice or think that that's what it is or how to do it, let me know. I've worked a lot on my own vehicles, but I've never worked on heavy duty kind of stuff, bigger stuff. So anyways, get your houses in order, folks. You better be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually for what's coming. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.